Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the birth of Merlin and we've made it to Act 2, Scene 1, like for real. We're back to learning things in real time as opposed to stuff that I covered 2 days ago because I wrote things down wrong in my notes. And today we're going to get to meet a couple of my favorite characters in this play because I love their storyline. It's really fun and actually rather essential to this whole play. But real quick, the stuff that has happened before, we have a couple of set of lovers who are supposed to be getting married, but neither of the women is really into it, and one of the women actually wants to go be a nun and live a spiritual life of virtue as opposed to getting married. And we've got a king, the British king, who fell in love with a Saxon woman and decided that he's going to marry her, like instantly, much to everybody else's chagrin, including the very holy hermit who has come to visit, who says this is a terrible idea, but the king is like, I'm going to do it anyway. But then the one woman, Modesta, chatted with the hermit, and he's like, I can show you some things about leading a pious life. Come with me. But we also learned at the beginning of Act 1, Scene 2 that the king's brother Arthur is missing, and they're hopeful that he is still alive. They're pretty sure that he is because they're thinking that if he had been captured or killed, somebody definitely would have told them about that because, you brag about those sorts of things while you're in the middle of a war. So anyway, Act 2, Scene 1. We're in the middle of a forest and we get to meet Clown and his sister Joan. And I love it that Clown doesn't have a name other than Clown. It's just Clown. It lets us know what kind of character to expect here. And I am picturing this as a very comical scene. He's like dragging her in because she is hugely pregnant and the two of them are bantering back and forth because she doesn't know who the father of the baby is. And the clown is like, has anybody else ever had to deal with this where they have a sister who's super pregnant but doesn't know who the father of her baby is? Like, how could you not know? Like, typically people would know who the father of their baby is, and she's like, well, he was so nice, I didn't want to bother him by asking his name. And the clown is just like, what? That's like question number one. You ask the name. He's like, well, what does he look like? And she's like, well, he was very handsome and he was dressed very smartly. And the clown, like, he's getting so frustrated with her. He started at a frustration level of about an 8 in this scene, and he gets up to like a 9.5 or 10, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna have to go. If you can't give me anything else, you don't know this guy's name, you can't really tell me what he looks like, I'm gonna leave you. And she's like, oh no, please don't leave me yet. Let's just walk around a little while, because I know he frequents the forest. Let's just walk around until we meet him. And Clown says, meet him? And what name shall we have for him when we meet him? What? Thou neither knowest him, nor canst tell what to call him. Was ever man tired with such a business, to have a sister got with child, and not know who did it? Well, you shall see him. I'll do my best for you. I'll make proclamation. If these woods and trees, as you say, will bear any witness, let them answer. Oh yes, if there be any man that wants a name, will come in for conscience sake, and acknowledge himself to be a whoremaster. He shall have that laid to his charge in an hour, he shall not be rid on in an age. If he have lands, he shall have an heir. If he have patience, he shall have a wife. If he have neither lands nor patience, he shall have a whore. So ho, boy, so ho, so. So this is the clown being frustrated and unkind to his sister, but in a sort of a funny way. He's reached that point of exasperation. He's like, okay, so we're gonna meet this guy, but what do we call him? And if we don't know what he looks like, then how do we know we ever ran into him? So he's like, you know what? I'll help you. I'll yell out to the trees that if there happens to be a man around who wants to take on an instant family, come on out and you can have my sister. And he's like, this man will get a family and a kid in the course of an hour that he will never be able to get rid of in the rest of his life. And if he wants somebody to pass on an inheritance to, he'll have that. And if he can be patient with a wife, he'll get one of those. And if he doesn't, well, then he just has my sister who he can sleep with as he wants to. And what's sort of fun with the so ho boy, so ho, so that ends this monologue is we then hear a voice off stage say almost the same exact thing. So there is another man running around the forest who heard the clown call. And we're going to find out who that was in tomorrow's monologue. So I'll see you then. Mwah.